So a rain barrel is basically, and they're typically barrel shaped, but they could be any shaped device that's used to capture rainwater and harvest it so they can be used later for purposes. So we're basically um, taking water that would go into the storm system or into the ground and then holding it and using it for another purpose before we put it back into the ground. And typically those uses are for watering plants, flowers, that type of thing. Although it could be used for washing your car or other types of things. But the most common use that people have is for watering plants in their gardens. Any property owner that has a rain barrel on their property and is using it would be eligible for the credit. So if you think about a rain barrel, it's really there intended for you to hold stormwater temporarily, to have it for a purpose, and most frequently watering plants. If you're going to put a rain barrel in and you don't use it, there's really not much function to it, right? All it's going to do is fill up with water, and then every time it rains, it's just going to overflow. But they are very helpful for people to use for watering plants. So you think about it, you need to have that barrel elevated above the ground so you can get a hose connected to it or a watering can underneath it so that you can empty the barrel. So you have a spigot at the bottom for that. And then you need a hole at the top so that you can divert the water from a rain gutter into the barrel. So it's going to be pretty close to a downspout. You want to think about not having an open barreled roof because that'll allow the water to evaporate. You want to contain it in there.
One thing that is important to keep in mind when building a rain barrel is to keep it enclosed, have a lid on it. That will do two things. One, it'll help prevent the water from just evaporating before you get a chance to use it, but it also limits the ability of mosquitoes to use that still water as a breeding ground.
To make a rain barrel, if you're not familiar with it, it's not a difficult process to do. There are lots of instructional videos on the internet. If you do a simple web search for how to build a rain barrel, there are numerous videos out there that you can watch. They're not too long. And it's good to watch multiple ones because you get different ideas. There's not one size fits all for rain barrels. And there's also a workshop that's done annually that's supported by the MS4 partners as part of our public education and outreach for that permit. That's hosted by the Clearwater Conservancy. That event is done typically April of every year in the spring. And so property owners that might be interested in not only learning about how to build a rain barrel, but also having access to the materials. Anyone who registers for that gets the materials to build the rain barrel as well. So you would contact Clearwater Conservancy and ask to be put on their list for the next rain barrel workshop. A property owner is interested in getting a credit for a rain barrel. There is an application form to complete that can be picked up either in a paper form in our lobby, or you can go to the Stormwater homepage on our website and find the credit application forms there as well that you can submit electronically. It'll all be processed electronically, and then you'll get an email notification if your application has been approved or denied.